to another of my live videos, and big breaking news just to update you with now is regarding Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because we know now the player is aging up, and we know Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's just not long ago recovered from long-term injury, you know, that niggling knee injury, you know, that he suffered in the Anderlecht game last season, you know, in the Europa League, and it was overscheduled, and he's now come back, you know, to action. You know, he's playing football now, it's good to see, but it was overscheduled because we initially thought, you know, he'd be out at least till the end of the year, you know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic as well, but we know he's guaranteed at least this season, you know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic to stay at Manchester United as well in the current process. You know, the player got 28 goals last season for Manchester United, and we know he got 28 goals this season. We know he delivered in the EFL Cup final as well last season, and the Community Shield last season. He was absolutely phenomenal last season because Man United got him from Paris Saint-Germain. You know, we got him on a free transfer from Paris Saint-Germain as well. He's got experience of, you know, being with France for Paris. You know, he had fantastic years with Barcelona. You know, AC Milan. He'd been at Inter Milan as well. And this is now his second season, you know, in the process of Manchester United. But he's yet to start from the start, you know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you know, since recovering from injury. But he has been making substitute appearances as Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So the press are reporting now, reportedly, we could put an extension on his contract to keep it and to keep at Manchester United for the third season. Reportedly, so reportedly, it's saying in the press that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is set to have contract talks with Jose Mourinho and the club in the new year. Have currently extended his contract, and this extension would keep him at Old Trafford. This extension would keep him at Old Trafford, you know, going into the third season as well. So he would be at Old Trafford next season if he was to sign this extension in the new year as well. Reportedly, so reportedly he's set to have talks with Jose Mourinho. He's Zlatan Ibrahimovic over this, but we know now. Could it affect us in a way, even though Zlatan Ibrahimovic is absolutely fantastic? Because we know that Manchester United, you know, still want Griezmann, still want Bale, even though he did say we've called his interest, you know, due to, you know, the form of Martial. You know, we want Danny Rose at left back, you know, we want Mesut Ozil in the midfield. So Jose Mourinho's got a lot of, you know, potential targets, you know, on his current radar. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's not going to be guaranteed, you know, he's not going to be guaranteed to start from the start, especially because we've got Romelu Lukaku there, who's got 8 goals and 9 goals in the Premier League this season. He's nearly got a century goals now, all in all in the Premier League, as Lukaku made his 200th appearance, you know, on a Tuesday night, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic would come on in that game as well in the current process. But I think Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Lukaku, you know, would complement each other as well. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic has not started yet, you know, from the start, you know, since recovering from injury as well. But would you like to see Zlatan Ibrahimovic stay at Manchester United, you know, for the third season? You know, if these contract talks, you know, in the new year do go in the right direction? So I'd like to know your comments and likes below on this. He is a fantastic player, but he's a player that's aging up, and, you know, he's a player that's had interest from a few other teams. You know, there's been other teams. I think LA Galaxy were interested in him. I think you mentioned Soccer Summit, I can't remember, were interested in him as well. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic, we know, did sign a short-term deal back in August as well, the current player. So reportedly, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is set to have discussions over the contract, you know, with Mourinho and the club in the new year as well. So basically, Manchester United, you know, we've got Matic out as well, which is disappointing, but I don't know, I haven't looked up at that yet, how severe Matic's injury is. He did come off during the Watford game with a muscular problem, because that's very, very bad, because Matic is featured in every game for us this season in the Premier League, and the majority of the games in all competitions he's played in. I think he's had the odd game out, but he's played in all 14 Premier League games this season. Matic hasn't scored yet, to be quite fair, but he's one of our advanced, you know, most central midfielders, such as Paul Pogba, because them two early on this season, you know, complemented each other fantastically well as well. So that's a big blow. So it says he could be out for the Arsenal game as well, Nemanja Matic. And then you've got you know, we got Rojo, recovered from long-term injury. He's played well, you know, since he's come back from long-term injury as well as Marcus Rojo, you know, in the current process, you know, he's played fantastically well as Marcus Rojo as well. And you know, we had injuries last couple of seasons, because we had it last season. You know, we saw Luke Shaw. You know, since he's broken his leg, he hasn't been the same. Looks like he's going to leave Manchester United as well, because the board have said we have to sell before we can buy. And then you've got maybe Diamond could lead the club as well. But last season we had injuries. You know, we saw Mata got injured last season. Luke Shaw got injured, you know, as well. And we've seen injuries this season. Pogba got injured as well last season, but he only missed 3 games last season. But this season, Pogba missed I think over a month of football, you know, due to the injury he suffered against Basel. But it's good to see him now back. Paul Pogba as well, because he's done well since come back. And you know, you've got Fellaini as well, who had a knee injury this season. But the reports stemming the other day in the press, this was in the, well, I was reading about the Nemanja Matic in the press with his injury, but Fellaini was actually mentioned in the article as well. That reportedly, even though he wasn't named in the game in the squad against Watford, neither was Mkhitaryan, but Fellaini reportedly has suffered an injury as well. I don't know if this is true, but I will look more into it as well, because Fellaini, you know, has done very, very well for us this season, you know, to be quite fair. But he's another player, you know, he's coming to an end of his deal. We could lose him on a free transfer next summer, because Man United are basically not preparing to cash in on Manny and Fellaini, as we all know. And you know, as we all know, reportedly, you know, Paris Saint-Germain, he said in the press about 4 or 5 days ago that they're willing to offer him a 4-year deal. They were using him as a backup, you know, for Figo, Motto, Paris Saint-Germain, Fellaini. And but Man United are not prepared to cash in him in January, because Jose Mourinho's a big admirer of the player. We know Galatasaray have been interested in Fellaini. We know Besiktas have been interested, you know, in Manny and Fellaini as well. But yeah, he's made about over a century appearance now for Manchester United. You know, since he's come, he's been here at Old Trafford since 2013. This is definitely his best season, you know, for Manchester United. He's Manny and Fellaini's as well. But Jose Mourinho had blocked, you know, Fellaini making a move to Galatasaray back in August. He blocked the move because he didn't want Fellaini to go. And they have a fantastic relationship, the both players. It reportedly said, you know, we offered Fellaini a deal. Fellaini had turned this down. This was back in September. And also, he's demanding a higher wage increase of around £170,000 a week. Is Manny and Fellaini as well. But Jose Mourinho is desperate for the player to sign a new deal. I think we've been in the process of trying to secure him a new deal, but we haven't done that yet. And you know, we've got Luke. You know, we could lose quite a few players, but I don't think we'll lose Fellaini in January, because Man United are prepared to not sell him in January, so we could lose him on a free next summer. Mourinho's concerned about this. Luke Shaw could well go in the January transfer window, as we all know as well, because Luke Shaw, you know, City, Arsenal have been interested. Chelsea have been interested, City have been interested, said there's talks about him, you know, possibly, you know, going back to Southampton as well, Luke Shaw, you know, as well, you know, in the current process. But Luke Shaw is still under contract at Old Trafford until 2019. Luke Shaw made his England team debut in 2014. We purchased him for Southampton, you know, for £29 million. But he's frustrated with the lack of game time he's getting. And Mourinho had given him a lot of criticism last season. Has not played in the Premier League this season. He's had a tough start since he's come to Manchester United as Luke Shaw as well. He's only played 32 times in the Premier League for us. As Luke Shaw as well, you know, in the current process. But he's 4th, 5th choice left back now under Jose Mourinho. But I think he wants to go to a team, you know, where he'll be guaranteed first team football. Don't forget, you know, there has been talks of Danny Rose and Luke Shaw's a potential swap deal. Don't forget. But Southampton, you know, maybe have to you know, he may go back to Southampton. But Southampton basically have to offload Ryan Bertrand, basically, if they had to get Luke Shaw. And we know City are interested in Ryan Bertrand, you know, due to, you know, one of City's summer signings, Benjamin Mendy, is currently injured for the majority of this season. But Luke Shaw, you know, maybe actually keen on reuniting with Pochettino at top, you know, because they were fantastic together at Southampton. And we know since Luke Shaw's broken his foot, he hasn't been the same. We know that he's known for injuries as well. So potentially, it says Newcastle are also interested. They're keen on getting Luke Shaw on a loan deal. I don't think they're keen on getting on a permanent deal at Newcastle United, but wherever he goes, he's going to be guaranteed first team football at Newcastle and that. But at Manchester United, he's not going to be guaranteed first team football. As we all currently know, and we did get Luke Shaw, you know, in the Van Gaal era, and it just hasn't been the same, you know, since he's broken his foot, Luke Shaw, as we all know. But he did say if his career could be over after a fallout with Jose Mourinho, like reported about 2-3 weeks ago now. But yeah, there's been talks of potential swap deal. Man United offer 40 million plus Luke Shaw for Danny Rose, and I still think, you know, Jose Mourinho's he's spent 300 million free transfer windows as Mourinho. He says we have to sell before we can buy. Jose Mourinho's identified 4 left-footed targets, you know, potentially as well. This was Bale, Griezmann, Luke Shaw, and Mesut Ozil. They are the 4 most likely ones. But saying, you know, about Danny Rose, I think he's a favourable left back, you know, to go on and replace Luke Shaw. We could still see Matteo Darmian go. But saying about Danny Rose, he's been at Tottenham 10 years. You know, he's under contract with Tottenham until 2021. Don't forget as well as Danny Rose. He criticised Tottenham for lack of investment in the August window as well. Did Danny Rose? You know, he says he wasn't receiving enough wages, and you know, Danny Rose basically, you know, wasn't satisfied. About this as well. But there's teams out there that can double his wages. You know, Danny Rose did say he didn't want to play football 15 years without one trophy or one medal. And his tackling team scored. His defensive distribution's very, very good. And I think he's unhappy with Pochettino, you know, for Danny Rose, because he was out with injury for 9-10 months. And, you know, he dropped in for the North London derby of a week, dropped in for the West Brom game, and Danny Rose was not satisfied about this. And Ben Davies basically has been fulfilling Danny Rose's spot, you know, this season. Especially, you know, as well. But Danny Rose began his career release, and he's been at Tottenham 10 years, but obviously he's been a lot of teams on loan during that 10-year period. You know, he has been with a Tottenham Hotspur Football Club as well. He's still kind of young. Not young, but he's still kind of young as well. I think there's only a few years difference between Luke Shaw and Danny Rose as well. But potentially it could still happen. But Mourinho, I think, you know, is still basically the main part of that team. You know, still looking to strengthen up address the left-hand side position as well, as we all know. But yes, as I'm saying, Man United have still got players coming to the end of the deals. You know, we've got it with Juan Mata as well. Juan Mata is very, very consistent, very clinical. I do really, really like Mata. He turned a big money move down to China before did Juan Mata. He's coming to an end of his deal as well, so Man United want to secure him a new deal. You know, I'm not sure about Ander Herrera. I'm sure that said in the press, you know, the other week that Ander Herrera, you know, we know that Atletico Madrid have been interested. He'd also been on Barcelona's agenda as well. You know, he's won tournaments at the Spain under-20, under-21 level. As Herrera, you know, he won the club's, you know, Player of the Year last season as well. And Herrera has struggled this season, let's be quite honest. He did get, to be fair to him, he did come on Tuesday, you know, he did get an assist for Lingard's fourth goal, but Herrera has struggled this season because he's not going to be guaranteed first team football week in, week out, you know, especially now we've got Pogba that's recovered from injury, you know, and all that. And he's not going to be guaranteed first team football, you know. And Matic is way ahead of Herrera, you know, now in that midfield. And we know Herrera is not third choice, but reportedly it did say Man United. Well, we did have the option to extend his contract, you know, by 12 months, which would take it till 2019. But it did actually say in the press, I think, I'm sure it said a couple of weeks ago that Man United had triggered this 1-year extension on his current contract, which will take him under contract until 2019 and guarantee him to stay at Old Trafford at least until 2019 as well, you know, in the current process under Herrera. But yeah, and you know, got Luke Shaw's Man U till, you know, got a contract till 2019. As I said, Juan Mata coming to an end of his deal. And we know Fellaini as well, don't forget about him. And you know, also we know David De Gea as well. I haven't mentioned him in a while. David De Gea, the Manchester United goalkeeper. We know that he's still on Real Madrid's radar. We also know Real Madrid are interested in Courtois as well. Real Madrid have got quite a few goalkeepers, you know, on their radar, because obviously, you know, they've got Keylor Navas of Real Madrid at the moment. But we know that Real Madrid still have that long-standing interest in David De Gea, potentially the best goalkeeper. And we know David De Gea is he's under contract with Manchester United until 2019 as well. We know he's played in he's made over 2 century appearances now for Manchester United as David De Gea as well. You know, with us since he's come to Old Trafford, he's won a couple of Premier Leagues with us. You know, the FA Cup, the EFL Cup, you know, the Europa League, and that with us as well as David De Gea. And he's got a record of clean sheets as David De Gea as well. But we know Real Madrid, you know, could still potentially go for him next summer. But we know Real Madrid have had that long-standing interest, you know, since 2015. You know, due to that faulty fax machine, you know, right at the end of the transfer deadline day. This is why Real Madrid, you know, didn't get a deal of like. You could understand in the future David De Gea wanted to go to Real Madrid because he's born in Madrid as well as in Madrid. You know, his girlfriend's in Madrid as well as David De Gea's. But we've got the best defensive record in the league this season, and David De Gea is just absolutely fantastic. One of the best goalkeepers I think Man United have had, because we've had a lot of good goalkeepers over the years. You know, with Van der Sar, fantastic for us. You know, we had who else did we have as well? You know, you had Edwin van der Sar. We had I remember Bartes. He was a fantastic goalkeeper for Manchester United. We had the likes of Thomas Cusack. Didn't really rate him as well, but David De Gea potentially, you know, the best as well. As I said, you know, he's obviously been in Spain before with Atletico Madrid. You know, where he'd risen up the ranks with Atletico Madrid. David De Gea, you know, made his he became first choice. He made his debut in 2009 for Atletico Madrid. You know, became first choice then. Did David De Gea, and he won the Europa League. You know, he won the UEFA Super Cup with Atletico Madrid as well. And we just paid over £18 million for the player. But even if we are willing to offload him maybe next summer, you know, we'll be demanding that. We probably want, you know, 3 times more than £18 million that we initially paid from Atletico Madrid. So if Real Madrid are maybe willing to pay £70-80 million, then it may test Manchester United, you know, into selling David De Gea. But he's ended his contract in 2019 as well with Manchester United as well. But as I said, Jose Mourinho's got quite a few potential targets on his radar. He said he wants more left-footed players in the squad. He wants to address that left-hand side a bit more. But even though it did say Man United have called interest in Griezmann and Bale, you know, due to, you know, the way that Antonio Martial is performing, you know, at the club at the moment, you know, fantastic young age prospect as well. But the big news is Ibrahimovic is set to have contract talks with Jose Mourinho in the new year over potentially getting an extension, and could keep Zlatan Ibrahimovic at Manchester United for a 3rd season as well, reportedly. But Zlatan, good news, he's come back from injury now. You know, he hasn't played yet from the start. He has been coming on as substitutions as Zlatan Ibrahimovic as well. But very good news. We did get him on a free transfer, as we all know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You know, he'd been out since April. You know, he was over scheduled because he was supposed to be out at least till the end of the year, and he signed a short-term deal back in August as well. Did Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Good news, if he does get this contract. If these contract talks go in the right direction in the new year, because he's set to have discussion with Mourinho on the club, then he will be at Manchester United for a 3rd season as well. So that is pretty good news as well. And the player that scored 28 goals last season for us, you know, fantastic in his debut season for Man United last season as well. But yeah, I think, you know, could it affect us though? Could it affect us getting the pursuit of Griezmann and stuff like that? Could it affect that? Because, you know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you know, will want more first team football, you know, and, you know, he's not going to be guaranteed that, you know, unless, you know, if he does sign this new contract, he's not going to be guaranteed first team football week in, week out. If we were to, like, get the pursuits of Griezmann and all that, and, you know, he'd fall down the pecking order. And plus, you know, with Lukaku there as well, you just don't know, do you? But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So anyway, that's everything to do today. Drop your comments, likes, on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe to my channel as always. Take care. God bless, guys, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.